Getting Things Done by David Allen. Introduction. Have you ever found yourself in the dark, reaching for a flashlight, only to find the batteries are dead? Of course you have. We all have. But here's the interesting question. When did your mind remind you that you needed new batteries? Was it when you were walking down the battery aisle at the store? Probably not. Your mind, in its own strange way, likely waited until the exact moment you were standing in the dark, needing that flashlight, to tell you, hey, you need batteries. Not very helpful, is it? This little moment, this tiny frustration, is a perfect window into a much larger problem. It's a problem that quietly runs in the background of our lives, draining our energy, creating stress we can't quite name, and holding us back from being truly present and productive. It's the problem of having a mind that's full, but not clear. We live in a world that never stops. Emails, text messages, ideas in the shower, things the kids need for school, a promise you made to your boss, that nagging feeling you're forgetting something important. It all piles up. Most of us try to manage this flood by using our brain as our main office. We keep our to-do lists, our worries, and our brilliant ideas all stored in our heads. But what if I told you that your brain is a terrible office? It's a fantastic place for having ideas, but a horrible place for holding them. This is the central insight from a man who has spent his life helping the world's most successful people get out of their own way. His name is David Allen, and his book, Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity, is more than just a book. It's a global phenomenon. It's a manual for how to operate in the 21st century without losing your mind. For over 2 decades, Allen has been a legendary coach to executives at places like the World Bank and the Ford Foundation. He wasn't a theorist in an ivory tower. He was in the trenches, standing beside people at their messy desks, helping them dig out from under the weight of their own commitments. What he discovered was a universal system, a set of simple habits that could transform chaos into control, and stress into a state of relaxed focus. Today, we're going to explore that system. And I promise you, by the end of our time together, you'll understand the secret to achieving what martial artists call a mind like water. A mind that is calm, clear, and ready for anything, responding to life with appropriate force, but always returning to a state of peace. This isn't about working harder, it's about changing your relationship with the work you do. It's about getting things done, so you can be free to enjoy the things that truly matter. Book summary. Let's start with a simple, powerful truth. Most of the stress you feel doesn't come from having too much to do. It comes from the promises you've made to yourself that you haven't kept. Think about it. That project you said you'd start, that call you need to return, that closet you swore you'd clean out. Each one is an agreement you've made with yourself. David Allen calls these open loops or incompletes. They are anything that is pulling at your attention because it isn't finished, or it isn't where it's supposed to be. And here's the problem. Your mind, that brilliant idea generator, is terrible at keeping track of these open loops. It doesn't have a sense of past or future. So, the moment you tell yourself, I need to buy cat food, a part of your brain thinks you should be buying cat food all the time. Every minute of every day. When you add a second thing, like I need to prepare for that big presentation, you've now created instant failure in your mind, because you can't possibly do both at once. Your brain works like the RAM on a computer. It's for active processing, not for storage. When you try to store all your open loops in your head, you fill up your mental RAM until it's bursting at the seams. The result? You feel distracted, overwhelmed, and constantly anxious, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Your mind keeps reminding you about the cat food when you're in a meeting, and about the presentation when you're trying to fall asleep. It's a system designed for failure. This constant, unproductive preoccupation with all the things we have to do, as one expert put it, is the single largest consumer of our time and energy. So, what is the solution? The solution is to get it all out of your head. Every last bit of it. Not some of it. Not the important stuff. 100% of it. You need a trusted system outside of your mind to capture, clarify, and organize all of your commitments. A system so complete that your brain can finally let go of the job of being a terrible secretary and get back to what it does best, being creative, focused, and present. This is the foundation of the Getting Things Done methodology. It's a 5-step process for wrestling your world into submission and achieving that state of relaxed control. The steps are: collect, process, organize, review, and do. Let's walk through them, one by one. The first step is collect. Your mission here is to round up every single thing that has your attention. Every open loop, big or small, personal or professional. You need to gather it all into what Alan calls a collection bucket. The most common and effective of these is a simple, physical in-basket. You'll perform 2 sweeps. First, a physical sweep. Walk around your office, your home, your car. Grab every piece of mail, every note, every business card, every receipt, every magazine you intend to read, anything that isn't where it belongs permanently, and put it in your in-basket. If something is too big to go in the basket, like a broken printer you need to fix, just write "fix printer" on a sheet of paper and toss that in instead. The second sweep is a mental sweep. This is where you sit down with a stack of plain paper and empty your head. Write down every single thing that's on your mind, 1 item per sheet of paper. Call mom, finish the budget report, plan vacation, learn Spanish, fix the squeaky door, save the world. Whatever it is, if it's taking up even a tiny bit of your mental space, write it down and put it in the basket. This process can feel overwhelming at first. As you see the pile grow, you might feel a wave of anxiety. But something else happens too. A sense of relief. For the first time, you can see the edges of your world. You've corralled the chaos into one place. Your brain starts to realize that you're finally taking this seriously, and it can begin to stand down. But the collection bucket, the in-basket, is not a storage bin. It's a processing station. You must empty it regularly. And that brings us to the second step, the heart of the entire system: process. Here, you take the items from your in-basket, one at a time, from the top down, and you ask yourself a series of simple questions. And you follow one unbreakable rule: never put anything back into in. You pick up the first item. The first question you ask is, what is it? Is it a bill? An idea? A request? Get clear on what you're looking at. Then you ask the most important question of all: is it actionable? Is there something you actually need to do about this? The answer is either yes or no. There is no middle ground. Let's follow the no path first. If the item is not actionable, you have 3 choices. First, it could be trash. It's no longer needed. Throw it away or delete it without a second thought. Be ruthless here. When in doubt, throw it out. Second, it could be something to incubate. This is an item you might want to do something about later, but not now. This is for your brilliant ideas for projects you can't start yet, or trips you might want to take someday. These go on a special list called a someday/maybe list. This list is your creative parking lot, a place to store possibilities without the pressure of commitment. You look at it from time to time to see if anything is ready to become an active project. Third, it could be reference material. This is information that has no action tied to it, but might be useful to you later. An article, a manual, contact information, meeting notes you want to keep. This material needs a home. Alan is a huge advocate for a simple, A to Z general reference filing system that is easy and fast to use. He loves label makers, Because they make files look clean and professional, which tricks your brain into actually wanting to file things. If it takes you more than a minute to file something, your system is too complicated, and you'll just end up with piles again. So, that's the no path: trash, incubate, or reference. But what if the answer to "is it actionable" is yes? This is where the magic really happens. If an item is actionable, you must immediately decide one thing. What is the very next physical, visible action required to move this forward? This is the secret sauce of getting things done. It's not plan the party. That's a project. The next action is call Sarah to ask about catering, or email guests to save the date. It's not do my taxes. That's a project. The next action is find my accountant's phone number or gather all receipts into one folder. The next action must be a physical activity. Something you can see yourself doing. This question, "What's the next action?" is incredibly powerful. It forces clarity. It breaks down overwhelming projects into small, manageable steps. It overcomes procrastination because it gives your brain something simple and doable to focus on, instead of a vague, intimidating blob of a project. Once you've defined that next action, you have three choices: do it, delegate it, or defer it. First, do it. This is the famous 2-minute rule. If the next action will take less than 2 minutes to complete, do it the moment you see it. Fire off that email. Make that quick call. File that document. Why? Because it's an efficiency cutoff. It would take you longer to log it, track it, and come back to it later than it would to just get it done right now. This single habit can revolutionize your productivity and clear out a huge amount of clutter from your world. Second, delegate it. If the action will take longer than 2 minutes, ask yourself, am I the right person to do this? If not, hand it off. Send an email, write a note, or add it to an agenda to discuss with the appropriate person. But here's the key: when you delegate something, it doesn't just disappear. You need to track it. This brings us to a crucial list, the waiting for list. This is where you keep a record of everything you've handed off to someone else, so you can follow up and ensure it gets done. Third, defer it. If the action will take longer than 2 minutes, and you are the right person to do it, you'll defer it to do later. This is where most of your to-do items will land. But you don't just put them on one giant, overwhelming to-do list. That's the old way, and it doesn't work. This leads us to the third major step: organize. This is where you put the reminders of your deferred actions into the right buckets. Instead of one long list, you'll organize your actions by the context required to do them. Think about it. You can't make phone calls when you're driving around town running errands. You can't work on your computer when you're waiting in line at the bank. The traditional to-do list is inefficient because it forces you to scan through dozens of things you can't do, just to find the few that you can. Instead, you'll create several next actions lists based on context. The most common are calls, for any phone call you need to make. At computer, for emails to send, documents to write, or anything that requires a computer. Errands, for anything you need to do when you're out and about, the bank, the post office, the grocery store. At home, for tasks that can only be done at home, like fixing that leaky faucet. Agendas, this is a brilliant one. For each key person in your life, your boss, your partner, your assistant, you'll have a running list of things you need to talk to them about. The next time you see them, you can pull out your list and cover everything at once, instead of interrupting them 5 times a day. There's one other crucial bucket in your organization system: the calendar. The calendar, in the GTD world, is sacred territory. It is not a to-do list. Only 3 things go on your calendar: time-specific actions, appointments; day-specific actions, things that must happen on a certain day, but not at a specific time; and day-specific information reminders or events you want to be aware of. That's it. By keeping it clean, you can trust it to tell you the hard landscape of your day, the commitments around which all your other work must flow. Finally, we need one more list to complete our system, the projects list. A project, in GTD terms, is any outcome that requires more than one action step to complete. This means get new tires is a project. Plan birthday party is a project. Launch new product line is a project. The projects list is not a place for action steps. It's simply an index of all your open loops, a master list of all the outcomes you are committed to achieving. Its purpose is to be a single, reliable inventory of your commitments, from the tiny to the tremendous. And that brings us to the fourth step, the one that holds the entire system together: review. This system is not static. It's a living, breathing thing that needs regular maintenance to stay trustworthy. If your lists are out of date, your brain won't trust them, and it will go right back to its old, stressful habit of trying to remember everything. The key to preventing this is the weekly review. This is non-negotiable. Once a week, you need to set aside an hour or two to get your head empty again. You gather up all the loose papers and notes, process your in-basket to zero, review all your lists, projects, next actions, waiting for, and someday/maybe, and make sure everything is current, and that every project has a next action defined. David Allen says that most people feel best about their work the week before they go on vacation. Why? Because they take the time to clean up, close loops, and clarify everything they're committed to. The weekly review is simply doing that every single week, instead of just once or twice a year. It's the master key to sustainability, the habit that ensures your system remains a tool of freedom, not another source of stress. Finally, we arrive at the fifth and final step: do. After all the collecting, processing, organizing, and reviewing, you now face the moment of truth. It's 10:30 on a Tuesday morning. What do? The beauty of this system is that it makes this choice simple and intuitive. You trust your gut, but you do it with a full menu of viable options in front of you. You make your choice based on 4 criteria, in this order. 1. Context: where are you and what tools do you have? This immediately limits your options to the relevant action list. If you're at your computer, you look at your at-computer list. 2. Time available: how much time do you have before your next commitment? If you have 10 minutes, you look for a 10-minute task. 3. Energy available: are you full of creative energy, or are you mentally drained? Match the task to your energy level. If you're fried, maybe it's a good time to make a few simple phone calls or process receipts. 4. Priority: finally, with the remaining options, you ask yourself, what will give me the highest payoff right now? This is where your intuition, guided by a clear sense of your goals and values, comes in. This brings us to the highest level of the system, the 6 horizons of focus. This is how you connect your daily actions to your life's purpose. Imagine looking at your life from different altitudes. The runway is your current actions. All the individual tasks on your lists. At 10,000 feet, you see your current projects, the short-term outcomes you're trying to achieve. At 20,000 feet, you see your areas of responsibility, the key hats you wear in life and work: parent, manager, team member, health, finances. At 30,000 feet, you see your 1 to 2 year goals. What do you want to achieve in the medium term? At 40,000 feet, you see your 3 to 5 year vision, your longer-term career, family, and financial goals. And finally, at 50,000 feet and above, you see your life purpose. Why are you here? What is the ultimate game you're playing? The power of the GTD system is that it works from the bottom up. It helps you get the runway clear, managing all those nagging little actions and projects, so that you finally have the mental bandwidth to think clearly about the higher altitudes. It's hard to think about your life's purpose when you're worried about whether you have cat food. By capturing everything, clarifying the next action for it, and organizing it all into a trusted system that you review regularly, you create the conditions for a clear mind. You stop using your brain to remember the past, and you free it up to create the future. You achieve a mind like water, ready for anything, and undisturbed by the things that don't matter. That is the art of stress-free productivity. Commentary. As we come to the end of our journey through getting things done, it's easy to see this book as just a collection of clever tricks: the 2-minute rule, context-based lists, the weekly review. And on one level, it is. These are incredibly practical, powerful techniques that can, without a doubt, make you more organized and efficient. But to see it only as that is to miss the profound, almost spiritual, core of what David Allen has given us. At its heart, this book is not about getting more things done. It's about being more present with whatever you're doing. It's about freedom. The freedom that comes from knowing that what you are doing right now is exactly what you should be doing, and what you're not doing is okay to not be doing. Think about the last time you were truly relaxed. Maybe you were on vacation, or spending time with someone you love. In that moment, your mind wasn't nagging you about unanswered emails or unfinished projects. You were fully there. The promise of this book is that you can have that feeling not just on vacation, but on a busy Tuesday afternoon. The real enemy, as Allen reveals, is not a lack of time, it's a lack of clarity. The stress we feel is the low-grade hum of ambiguity. It's the anxiety of undefined commitments and the weight of forgotten promises we've made to ourselves. What this system does, more than anything else, is force clarity. By asking, "What's the next action?" you are transforming a vague source of anxiety into a concrete, physical step you can take. Do taxes is stressful. Find accountant's phone number is easy. It's the same project, but the mental experience is worlds apart. This is why the methodology is so empowering. It takes you out of the role of a victim of your circumstances and puts you in the driver's seat. When you complain about something, you are implicitly saying it could be better. The GTD process gently asks, "Okay, so what's the next action to make it better?" It shifts you from passive complaint to active creation. If you want to begin applying these principles today, you don't need to block off 2 full days to overhaul your entire life. You can start small. Here are a few simple things you can do right now. First, take just 2 minutes and do a mini mind sweep. Grab a piece of paper and write down the top 5 things that are bouncing around in your head right now. Just getting them out and onto paper will give you a small taste of the relief this system provides. Second, pick one of those items and ask the magic question. What is the very next physical action I can take to move this forward? Define it. Write it down. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Feel the small victory of closing a loop. Third, look around you. Is there a pile of mail, a stack of papers, or a cluttered corner that has been nagging at you? Take one item from that pile and process it. Is it actionable? No. Then trash it, file it, or put it on a someday/maybe list. Yes? Then decide the next action. These small steps, practiced consistently, are the seeds of a profound transformation. You're not just cleaning your desk, you're clearing your mind. You're building a system of trust with the most important person in your life, yourself. That was a summary of Getting Things Done by David Allen. We've certainly covered the main ideas today, but I have to be honest with you. Listening to a summary is like looking at a picture of a wonderful meal. You can appreciate it, you can understand its components, but you can't truly experience it. The real magic of this book happens when you read it for yourself. It's in the quiet moments of reflection, when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with your own life in a way you didn't expect. This summary is your map, but the book is the journey. If anything we've talked about today has struck a chord, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's an experience that can genuinely change your relationship with your world. Also, if you found this summary valuable, I'd be so grateful if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that this work is making a difference, and it ensures you won't miss our next journey into another life-changing book. Let's keep growing together.